Patriarchy, that to be a man is to be in power. Whether you're in power over your own little kingdom, nuclear family, or you're in power over a company, or you're in politics, power is the primary goal. Dominance is the primary goal. Like Bell Hooks says, most men, if given the choice, will choose power over love because patriarchy tells them that power is what they should have and love is for women.
Yeah, I don't know how people are going to take this, but I'm just going to be honest. I went on a date a few weeks ago before Valentine's with a very lovely person. And one of the things that I've become more and more aware of as I've worked on myself, in particular to divest myself from the patriarchal advantages that I have as a guy that looks like this, with this skin color, in this society. And as sweet as they were, as cute as they were, as much as I would have loved to have their comfort, the power imbalance was simply too great. And I told some of my friends afterwards that if I was a lesser man, it was very easy to see how I could have manipulated that situation to my advantage. And I don't really know, maybe there was a time in my life where that type of power would have been very appealing to me. As this creator talks about power, not love. Because that's all that was, right? Here's a person that's younger than me. Here's a person that, when we talk about spirituality, is in a less developed place than me. I can easily step in there as like a guide, as a strong presence and a father figure. But I got married young, and so all the years of immaturity were spent with one person, and we probably caused a lot of harm to each other. Definitely caused a lot of harm to each other. But I don't, crave power. I crave love. And love doesn't operate when there's an imbalance. It operates when there's mutuality. And that's the thing I've had to learn to unpack over time. I remember my first therapist telling me that everything in society is meant to tell me, just like this creator here is saying, that I should be in control. Giving up control is hard. It means I don't get to use my powers of persuasion to get what I want. I have an ability to read people, an ability that is a gift when pulled away from the structures of patriarchy and white supremacy, but it is absolutely a threat when it is vested in them. So even me, someone that you guys see here, and I can tell you stories, I can tell you all sorts of stories where I showed up as the good guy. And I mean that in the truest sense, where I stood up in places that nobody saw, where I defended somebody without any concern for myself. All these things, these are stories that I keep for myself because they sound braggadocious, My friends know. But that temptation for power is always right there. But here's the deal. In relationships where the maintaining of the relationship is dependent on an imbalance of power, that may activate dopamine, that may activate attachment. But what I've learned the hard way is that it doesn't activate love, the thing that makes you feel fully alive inside. And for men, they cannot start feeling fully alive inside through a relationship. They have to find that in themselves first. You should go watch the whole video. It is fantastic. I have not seen a video that lays out just how, the plight of men in patriarchy, but also, even though we can be compassionate and gracious there, why it's so dangerous. And I don't think men can truly resist that temptation to grab that power until they've really done a lot of examining of self. And it's constant. I have to do it all the time. And I think a big thing for men is, are they committed to doing the work even when nobody's watching? Or are they only willing to do the work when it benefits them in relationship? It doesn't mean I don't mess up anymore, you know what I mean? But because I know the path back to myself, it makes it much easier to take accountability, to admit when I'm wrong, and to achieve repair. But that power, man. And the other thing is, often it's unconscious, right? We don't even know we're doing it. I have one of my mutuals post a video where they saw their ex-husband. They don't really talk to them anymore, but now that the kids are getting older, they had to have a meeting about college planning, right? And even though this woman is healed as fuck, you follow her. You guys probably follow Nat. Right? Healed as fuck, super powerful. That man comes in, he does his normal, and then all of a sudden, that poor nervous system, Natalie's poor nervous system, is sent right back to that place. You know what I'm saying? And again, since I've been dating, and to my own shame, so many women have experiences with men that are just traumatizing. And because men don't know the path back to their heart, they can't find the path back to repair. They can't find the path back to wholeness. And again, like I said, it's a constant journey. And going back to the example of that woman I dated, she was super sweet. The next day, hey, I can't wait for, to have another drink. And I just said, hey, I really appreciate the time. We can continue to get to know each other as friends, but I think spiritually we're just in two different places, because that's where the most obvious power dynamic difference was. And I just said, but it's not going to be a romantic connection for me. And I want a romantic connection, but I want one that doesn't require power to control it. I want one of mutuality and balance and respect, one that creates love, so we both step further and further into our own power. And for dudes, until you unpack your patriarchy, until you unpack your white supremacy, you're going to be stuck in a cycle where the coercive power of the system is constantly pulling you away from your own heart. In her video, I'll tag it below because the stitches were off, she mentions Bell Hooks. That is absolutely a book that you should probably read every year, The Will to Change. Just read it every year as a refresher, and then go ahead and read everything else that Bell Hooks has ever written. I know that temptation for power is so alluring, but that's because you've never felt the power of liberation. And when you meet other people that are also liberated, that's where love truly flourishes. Grace and peace.